Does the fact that Dr. Linder has a job still cheapen the president's promise to fire anyone who treats colleagues with disrespect on the spot?
Well, again, I would just reiterate that the president takes his commitment to having a respectful work environment incredibly seriously, and it's something that he conveys clearly to all of us on a regular basis.
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Genocide Games, NBC sportscaster sent home for these comments about China. Many feared that China hosting the Winter Olympics would get political, and it seems it already has. The sponsoring network for the event, NBC, announced yesterday that primetime host Mike Tirico was leaving Beijing earlier than expected, returning to the United States. They claim Tirico's return is to cover the Super Bowl, but the anchor was not originally scheduled to return to the United States until Thursday. Rumor has it, the early departure has something to do with Tirico calling out the Chinese Communist regime during his coverage of the events. During the opening ceremony, Tirico stated simply that the United States government is not here, citing China's human rights record and the U.S. government's declaration that the Chinese Communist Party is guilty of committing genocide on the Uyghur Muslim population in western Xinjiang region. A factual commentary if there ever was one. Later on in the games, he reminded the audience that China was the nation where COVID began. Then, he got a little more detailed with a 3-minute-long mini expose on the human rights violations and controversy surrounding their hosting. The video seems pretty mild, but it was enough to get the CCP mad enough and NBC worried enough to send Tirico packing. Watch, Psaki's attempt to spin taxpayer-funded crack pipes for drug addicts goes up in flames. Earlier this week, the Biden administration announced their harm reduction plan to help drug addicts, a measure the White House says will advance racial equity. The $30 million plan includes sending smoking kits to vulnerable communities, including areas that are predominantly Hispanic, Black, or LGBT. News outlets were quick to point out one glaring issue with the program: crack pipes were being distributed, along with needles and other drug paraphernalia. As part of the program, Health and Human Services released a statement indicating the news reports were inaccurate. During Wednesday's press briefing, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki was quick to agree with the HHS statement: inaccurate reporting surrounding the crack pipes.
Thanks, Jen. HHS just put out a statement clarifying around some reports that crack pipes would be part of the safe smoking kits that are funded by the administration. But can you clarify for us, were they never a part of the kit, or were they removed in response to this reporting and this pushback?
They were never a part of the kit. It was inaccurate reporting, and we wanted to put out information to make that clear.
What is in?
But Psaki stumbled when she was asked what exactly is in the smoking kits.
The safe smoking kit.
A safe smoking kit may contain alcohol swabs, lip balm, other materials to promote hygiene and reduce the transmission of diseases like HIV and hepatitis. And we wanted to provide clarification on the allowable uses for the HHS harm reduction program. It's not a change in policy. This program, though, is focused on harm reduction strategies, including prioritizing the use of fentanyl test strips and clean syringes. And all of these harm reduction services that will be supported by these programs are intended to save lives from an epidemic that we know is devastating to communities across the country.
Psaki's statement completely contradicts an HHS spokesperson's statement. A spokesman for the agency told the Washington Free Beacon that these kits will provide pipes for users to smoke crack cocaine, crystal methamphetamine, and any illicit substance, the Washington Free Beacon reported earlier this week. So, which is it, Jen? Are you lying, or is HHS, Sleepy Joe, have a peace of mind even though inflation is soaring? On Thursday, news broke that inflation hit yet another milestone and currently sits at 7.5%. A 40-year high. President Joe Biden's response to the situation was ridiculous. While parents are concerned about how to put food on the table and keep a roof over their kids' heads, Biden believes Americans should have a peace of mind.
The fact is that we're in a situation now where, you should have peace of mind. I know food prices are up, and we're working to bring them down. As I said, I grew up in a family where the price at the pump went up, you felt it, and I understand.
We should have confidence in his administration, even though he doesn't understand why prices continue to soar.
But the fact is that if we are able to do the things I'm talking about here, it'll bring down the cost for average families. Bring down the cost for average families. I don't know why they keep moving all that, but the fact is they keep down the cost for average families.
Remember when members of the Biden administration promised to get inflation under control? Don't worry, the RNC has us covered with their montage.
Talking inflation. The overwhelming consensus is going to pop up a little bit and then go back down. No one's talking about this great, and the data shows that most of the price increases we've seen were expected and are expected to be temporary.
But I think over the medium term, we'll see inflation decline back toward normal levels.
It's highly unlikely that it's going to be long-term inflation that's going to get out of hand.
If you take out those three categories, we've actually seen price increases that are more in line with historical norms.
The faster than expected increase in some of those prices is actually a good sign.
This is something that will settle down.
Transitory.
President Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, enthusiastically retweeted an economist who had said in part, most of the economic problems we're facing, inflation, supply chains, et cetera, are high-class problems.
There's nobody suggesting there's unchecked inflation on the way.
What is the Granholm plan to increase oil production in America?
Oh my God. That is hilarious.
The tragedy of the treadmill that's delayed.
One White House official snarking, you're just not going to be able to get the jacket in 15 colors, but at least you'll get a jacket.
If it turns out that what I've done so far, what we've done so far, is a mistake, it's going to show.
Oh my God. That is hilarious.
And this, folks, is why we have absolutely zero faith in Sleepy Joe.